Hey everybody, good to be with you. It's Wednesday, getting through the middle part of the week here. Did you think about this? There's one character theme that has apparently never really gotten old, because even modern movies, and lots of them right now, refer back to this one type of character. It's that of the superhero. You know what a superhero is, of course. It's people that have these powers that are way beyond what we as humans could ever really, I suppose, dream of having, or really that's all we can do is dream of having them. And that has spawned a question that's often asked. If you could have any superpower at all, what would that superpower be? For me, the answer to that is actually easy. I would want to have Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. Wouldn't it just be great to be able to know, especially in today's day and age, what is true? And for me, it goes way beyond being able to just force people to tell the truth. I might be a little, I suppose, greedy in saying this, but I would want that lasso to work on anything I put it around. Like my computer, for example, or the TV when the news is on. With all the information that's out there on the web, or that you hear reports on, wouldn't it be great to know what was really right and what wasn't? You think about today's day and age with stay-at-home orders in place. And then you hear some of these reports that say, maybe some of this isn't right, and maybe the actual death rates are being inflated, or maybe there's a conspiracy theory out there that says that the coronavirus has been around a lot longer than is being admitted to, and so on and so on. Wouldn't it really be great to just put your lasso around your computer, or around the TV when the news is on, and have a red light or a green light go off, depending on whether something being said is true, or whether it's just something that's being made up, or an all-out lie, I suppose. Well, believe it or not, we're not really the first people to have ever wanted to have that kind of truth at our fingertips. In fact, I know someone who actually attempted to activate the lasso of truth without actually having that lasso. He simply just used a different method. We'll read about it in Daniel in chapter 2, verses 1 to 6. And this is what it says as we continue looking at Daniel and what's going on in this book. Well, in the second year of his reign, King Nebuchadnezzar had dreams, and his mind was troubled, and he couldn't sleep. So what the king did is he summoned magicians and enchanters and sorcerers and astrologers all together to tell them what he had dreamed. Well, when they came in and they stood before the king, he said to them, I've had a dream that troubles me, and I want to know what it means. Well, then the astrologers answered the king, well, may the king live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we'll interpret it. Well, the king replied to his astrologers, well, this is what I firmly decided. If you do not tell me what my dream was and interpret it, I'll have you cut to pieces and your houses turned into piles of rubble. Whee! But if you tell me the dream and explain it, you will receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor. So tell me the dream and interpret it for me. Did you ever wonder why Nebuchadnezzar would ask such a difficult thing from them? I mean, really, honestly, this is lunacy. There's obviously no way that even the psychics of his day could do what he's asking them to do. If they could do something like that, they would have all already have won the Babylonian state lottery and been off to spend the rest of their life in Maui. So why would he ask a question like this? Well, I doubt it's because Nebuchadnezzar was a psycho. I don't think he was a psychopath. In fact, I think quite the opposite. You see, the psycho would have been the one that would have told these astrologers his dream, so that they could make up whatever story they felt like making up, and then they could pretend they were geniuses with supernatural powers or all kinds of intellect. And obviously, Nebuchadnezzar had received bad information from them before. And he knew that they were just going to make up a bunch of more junk like they had in the past. So he puts them all in this position where they have no choice but to stop being the phonies that they have been up until this point. Or die. Now that might be a little extreme, but you could see why Nebuchadnezzar would have done that. Well, I'm sorry guys, but we don't have the lasso of truth. And hopefully we don't have the desire to execute Nebuchadnezzar type political reforms either. So how do we decipher things through this life that we have and figure out what's true and what isn't? Well, one thing that we can do is this. We need to actually search for truth, not what we want to hear. See, our tendency is to have something that's in our heads already and only accept that information which fits into that content that we're expecting. In other words, we'll block out anything that runs contrary to our belief or our belief system. And if we can't stand a person, we'll scrutinize that person, but we'll adore everything that comes from the lips of those that we like. And that's a bad idea too. It doesn't matter who speaks. It only matters whether or not what they say is truth. With one exception, that is. God. He's the one that we need to completely believe. You know why? Because everything that God speaks is truth. And what we need to do, what we need to believe, is what is written in His Word. Believe Him, and what He says is wise and right. But focus on His principles and answers. And concentrate more really on His truths than you do on whether or not everything everyone else is saying is true or not. It'll be easier to recognize lies, guys, if you can quickly recognize God and His truth. You know why that is? Because God actually has the lasso of truth. He has it. And you just need to know Him well enough that He can reveal it to you when He desires. Think on that today. We'll see you tomorrow.